Hello everyone, I'm Sultan back with another Blender character modeling tutorial. This time we're gonna create a cat character from start to finish in Blender. But before that, you need to be patient to follow along this tutorial and to take advantage from it. So, let's go into it. Let's say that's you, and that is your goal. To achieve that goal, you will probably run into many obstacles. First one is an inspiration. We all have gotten started with an inspiration. Maybe you saw some good artists on Instagram, on YouTube, on ArtStation. Maybe you have a friend who does 3D. Or maybe you watched a movie, and the list goes on. Of course, beginners struggling a lot with learning. How do you get started? What should you learn? And many other questions. Let's dive in more into this point. When I'm gonna learn a new skill, I like to stick with the mind map. Our mind map looks like this one. Okay, we have learned a lot, but how we can stay motivated after all of that? So, don't overwhelm yourself with a big project. Starting with small projects is a very efficient way to stay motivated. Because when you start with a small project, you are able to finish it. And of course, it would be awesome if you want to share your work with others. Remember that you are a human being, not a robot. So please, take enough breaks and take care of your health. Alright, I think you got it. Next point. Practicing, and practicing, my friend. That's what makes you and your art unique. Alright, let's get started. At first, we need a 3D software. In my opinion, Blender is the best software ever that you can use, and Blender is for free. You can download Blender under www.blender.org, or you can follow the link down below. When we starting Blender, this window will pop up as you see. This is the splash screen window. Here we can start a new project or open recently opened blend files. Alright, this area called the 3D viewport. For the most part, we will do everything inside the square, so try to remember that name. Maybe you think, okay cool, but how we can navigate Blender? First of all, by scrolling the mouse wheel, we can zoom in and we can zoom out. By holding Ctrl and the middle mouse wheel, we can again zoom in and zoom out. Hold the middle mouse wheel to move the camera around the object in the viewport. By holding Shift and the middle mouse wheel, we can move like that in the viewport. That sounds good, but how do we actually select object in the viewport? Well, this is easy. We can do that by hovering the mouse on the object that we want to select and click the left mouse button. Okay, click on empty space to deselect. Also, we can hit A to select everything and A twice to deselect. By click and drag on the left mouse button, we can select a specific area, as you see here. This is our camera and our light. For now, please ignore them because we're gonna talk about them later. In order to navigate Blender very well, we need to remember these shortcuts. Hit 1 numpad to front view. Imagine that you look at the object just from the front view. Hit 3 numpad to go into the side view. Hit 7 numpad for the top view. By holding Ctrl 1 numpad, we can switch into the back view. Hold Ctrl 7 numpad to switch to bottom view. If you don't have a numpad on your keyboard, go to View, Viewpoint, and you can find all the shortcuts that we just talked about them. If you know me guys, you know that I'm straight to the point. These icons are not that important in my opinion. These are for zooming in or zooming out, look through the camera, etc, etc. So yeah, we just have talked about that. If you want to get rid of them, click here and turn off navigate. Alright, let's move this cube. We're gonna select it first. On the left side corner, we have what we call the quick menu. From here, we can select the Move Gizmo. But before that, let me show you the 3 dimensions in the viewport. We got the X-axis, the Y-axis, and the Z-axis. By click and drag on these arrows, we can move the selected object along that axis. Here is a quick example. Let's say we want to move this cube along the X-axis. In order to do that, we will click and drag on the red arrow. I think you got it. Let's move on. If you are new in Blender, Blender does have what other softwares not really have. I think you know that. Yes, shortcuts. A lot of shortcuts. If you do use Blender as a main software, you need to remember the shortcuts. In my opinion, guys, they are very helpful to speed up your workflow. So many people does like them and many doesn't. Speaking of shortcuts, here's a small list of shortcuts that you can save on your computer or on your phone to use them later. Just go ahead and make a screenshot, or you can follow the link down below. Alright, let's move on. Hit G on the keyboard to grab. Mouse left click and there we go. Again, hit G on the keyboard. This time use the mouse right click to cancel the movement. Hit GX to move along the X axis only. GY to move along the Y axis only. GZ to move along the Z axis only. Go with Ctrl Z to undo. Ctrl Shift Z to redo. Alright, let's spin that cube. Hit R to rotate. RX to rotate around the X axis only. RY to rotate around the Y axis only. RZ to rotate around the Z axis only. Or you can hit R twice to rotate freely. If you want to slow down your movement, hold the Shift key. As an example, hit R to rotate and now hold the Shift key to slow down your movement. And of course, guys, we can use the rotate gizmo for that. Go to quick menu and select this one. Alright, by click and drag on the color rings, we can rotate around a single axis. So simple is that. The white ring can be used to rotate around our view vector. If we click and drag on the inner ring, we can rotate freely around the 3 dimensions. Alright, that's good. Let's say we want to scale this cube. What should we do? Again, you need to check out our quick menu and select the scale tool. So guys, like we did it before using the move gizmo. By click and drag on the 3 dimensions X, Y, Z, we can scale the cube along that axis. If you click and drag on the little white ring, you can scale the cube bigger or smaller. And again, we're gonna use the hotkeys for that. Hit S for scale, SX to scale along the X axis, SY to scale along the Y axis, XZ to scale along the Z axis. And of course, if we want to move, rotate and scale with one gizmo, we can go to quick menu again and select this tool. Of course, guys, we have more than that to learn, but for now, we're gonna go step by step and slowly. Alright, let me show you some customizing that you can do to speed up your workflow. If you want to full screen your work area, go with Ctrl Alt Space. Ctrl Alt Space again to go back to the regular view. Alright, let's say we want to maximize the work area. Go with Ctrl Space. Here we still have the bar on the top and the information bar on the bottom. And again, if you want to go back to the regular view, go with Ctrl Space. If we want to look at our object from different views, we can go with the shortcut Ctrl Alt Q. And now we have the regular view, the top view, front view, and the side view. Ctrl Alt Q again to go back into the regular view. Mouse left click and drag on the corner to split a new area. From here we can change the area into different editors. We're gonna talk about that later on. Mouse left click and drag on the corner to join the areas together. Okay, by holding Shift, mouse left click and drag, we can separate a new area. If you have multiple monitors, this option is definitely for you. Let's say we are happy with our layout. How we can save that information? Go to File, Defaults, Save Startup File. If you want to open Blender again, that's gonna be the default setting for you. If you messed up and you want to load the factory settings again, go to File, Defaults, Load Factory Settings. Alright guys, finally we can talk about character creation. This is the topic of the video, isn't it? As a 3D artist, starting with the character concept is highly important. I got this question a lot from you guys. Can I 3D model if I can't draw? The answer is simple. Absolutely yes. In order to create something 3D, we need to look at the object from many angles. We need reference images from the side, from the back, from the front, and as possible from many angles. If you want to create anything in 3D, not just characters, having reference images is gonna speed up your workflow. For this tutorial series, I have drawn the reference images, so you don't need to think about that. Speaking of character creation, I wanna be honest with you guys. I have been using Blender for 3 years now. I have learned something really important. If you wanna create a character as a beginner, you can do that. But creating a specific character, that's gonna be really hard. As you see here, I drew this character on purpose without any extra details. I think now you know why. I have just talked about we need small projects to start with. So I need you to stay motivated to finish this character with me. So guys, without further ado, let's go straight into it. Okay, go with one numpad to go to the front view. Select the Move gizmo and grab this cube along the Z-axis just like that. For now, it's important to look through the cube. How we can do that? Click on this icon to turn on the X-ray mode. As you see guys, when we turn on this icon, we are able to look through the cube. And of course, we have other options like the wireframe mode. Also, we got the solid mode, the material preview, and the render mode. It's good to know for the most part we're gonna use the solid mode. And of course, we can use shortcuts for that by holding the Z button on the keyboard. Go with Alt-Z to switch quickly into the X-ray mode. Alt-Z again to go back to the solid mode. Okay guys, one numpad again. Now if we look at this cube, we have what we call the pivot point. We're gonna try to scale that cube to see what the pivot point really is. So I hope you got it. Go to Object, Set Origin, Origin to 3D Cursor. Now if we wanna scale or rotate this cube, we must rotate this cube from the pivot point, as you see in this example. Okay, that sounds good. Now if we hit N on the keyboard, we got a new menu. If you look at the dimensions here, we're gonna scale the cube along the Z-axis only. And of course, from here, we're gonna use the Z-axis to get the right height for the character. Okay, now we are ready to upload the reference images. Go to Add, Image, Reference. Or you can go with Shift-A, Image, Reference Image. It's the same. So guys, you can go ahead and download all the reference images for this character absolutely for free. The link is down below. So before we touch anything, I want to let you know that the outliner is highly important. Here we can find any object in our 3D viewport. So we can select the camera, the cube, the empty in this case is our reference image, and lastly we can select the light. Select the image, go with S to scale it a bit. As you see guys, I'm trying to position this image at the center. Our center in this case is the Z-axis. So, select the photo, click here, and turn on opacity. Bring the opacity a little bit down, and now we are able to look through the reference image. So, if you don't like to see this reference image from the back, we can fix that very quickly. You need to go up there and turn on front. So please take your time and don't rush. This is a very important step. At this point, we don't need the default cube anymore. We're gonna select it, hit X, and delete it. Alright, now we need reference images from the side view. A very common mistake that beginners do, they might go to Object, Image, and upload a new reference image. So guys, this is wrong. We don't need to do that. Okay, we're gonna do this instead. Select the reference image, go with Shift D to duplicate, mouse right click, hit R, Z, 90 on the keyboard, and then hit enter to rotate the image 90 degrees. Okay, hit 3 on the keyboard to go to the side view. So hold on and don't grab this image. All what we need to do is to move this image along the Y-axis. The Y-axis is the green arrow. Do you remember that? So when you are happy with that, we need to move the images away from the center. To do that, select this image and move along the x-axis. The x-axis is this red arrow. Select this one and move along the y-axis. The y-axis is the green arrow. Before we get into the modeling process, we need to organize the outliner. So I will show you how to do that. From here, we can add a new folder. Double-click to rename it. We're gonna rename it reference image. Okay, select this image, hold Shift, select this one, and grab the reference images into the new folder. And as you see from here, we can appear or disappear this folder. So easy as that. Okay, click here and turn on this icon. Now if we turn off this icon from the outliner, we are not able to select that folder. In this case, the reference images in the viewport. Guys, this is very helpful because we don't need to touch the reference images anymore. Alright, go ahead and add a new folder. Double click to rename it. I'm gonna go with body. It's up to you. You can rename it everything you want. So now we can say we are ready to start the 3D modeling process. But before that, you need to save your file. Go with Ctrl S to save. And now we are ready to go. One on to front view. Go with Shift A, Mesh, Cylinder. Click on Add Cylinder on the corner and change the vertices number into 12. As you see guys, we can use the shortcuts to switch between the front and the side view, but I like to do it in a different way. By click on drag on the corner here, we can split a new area. Hit N to disappear the panel on the left and on the right. On the left side, hit 3 to go to the side view, and the right side, hit 1 to go to the front view. As to scale the cylinder a bit, go with GZ to move the cylinder along the Z axis only. As to scale it a bit, go with SZ to scale along the Z axis only. Now if we hit Tab on the keyboard, we can go into the edit mode. In this mode, we can move things around and create the character. We can switch to the edit mode from the top right there, or we can hit Tab on the keyboard as a shortcut. Okay guys, go with Ctrl R to add a loop cut. Scroll the mouse wheel to add 5 loop cuts right there. We can change the number of the cuts from this window. And of course, we can change a lot of things. But for now, go ahead and just change the number of the cuts. Mouse left click and drag to select all the vertices on the top. Pick the Move gizmo. Now if we scale this loop, we will make changes on the left side and on the right side as well. So we don't need to do that. Go ahead and hit SX to scale along the X-axis only. Now from the side view, go ahead and go with SY to scale along the Y-axis only. By click and drag on the green arrow, move the vertices a bit to the back. So what does that mean for you? From the front view, we move, rotate and scale along the X-axis only. From the side view, we move, rotate and scale along the Y-axis only. This is highly important guys. So guys, I'm trying to improve myself as well. For this tutorial series, there are no time-lapse videos. So I'm gonna go slowly and step by step. Even if I don't talk, I think it's very interesting to you to see what I'm doing. All what we need now is to follow the reference images from the side and from the front as well. By selecting the button vertices, we're gonna rotate them a bit, just like so. Select this loop, R to rotate it a bit. Okay, SY to scale this one a bit, and there we go. We're gonna go and select the top vertices. Now hit E to extrude new vertices. And we need to repeat the same process. When you are happy with that, hit E to extrude the vertices one more time, R to rotate them a bit. So, hit Tab to go to the object mode to see what we did, Alt Z to exit the X-ray mode, and there you have it. We have the torso right now. Ctrl R and add a loop cut just right there. Select this one and move it along the Z axis a bit, just like so. Why we need to do that? Because we want to extrude the shoulders. Important shortcuts for you. In the edit mode, if we hit 1, we can go into the vertex select or click on this icon. Click on this one to go to the edge select or hit 2 on the keyboard. Or click on this one to go to the face select or hit 3 on the keyboard. We can use these modes to manipulate the geometry as we want. In the edit mode, click on this icon or hit 3 on the keyboard. And now we need to select faces. Hold Shift, mouse left click to select these 4 faces. Go to the front view again, hit E to extrude, S to scale these faces a bit, and rotate them slightly just like so. Alt Z to X-ray mode, 1 on the keyboard to vertex select. Select these vertices and grab them into the top of the shoulder. And as you see guys, now we need to do the same thing on the other side. No, I'm just kidding. All what we need to do is to add a mirror modifier on the left side. In the front view, select all these vertices, hit X and click on vertices to delete them. Tap to switch into the object mode. Look at the pivot point guys. We need to set the pivot point into the 3D cursor. Now we're gonna go to Object, Set Origin, Origin to 3D cursor. Or go with Ctrl A, all transforms to reset the location rotation scale into default. Hit N on the keyboard and check out the location rotation scale from this menu. Click on this icon to go to Modifier, Add Modifier, and select Mirror Modifier. And there we go, the software did the other side for us. Important is to activate clipping from this modifier. If we click on this little X, we will delete the modifier. Click here and we can apply the modifier. So for now, we don't need to do anything. So switch back into the edit mode again. If we make changes on the right side, it's gonna be mirrored on the left side. From the front view, select all these vertices. From the side view, we need to select one more vertices, I guess. And now we need to push the vertices back along the Y-axis a bit. Select this one and push it back a bit, just like so. Okay, that's good. Switch back into the side view. And now we need more vertices on the shoulder to create the arm. If we hit K on the keyboard, we can activate the knife tool. With this tool, we can add cuts on the surface. Do it just like so. And if we hit Enter, you can apply this cut. I think you got it. Ctrl Z to undo. And now we need to add a cut from here into there. Be careful guys, you need to make the same cut that I did. Switch into the face select. As you see guys, we have here what we called angons. Or switch into the vertex select, count with me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For this character, we need to keep the mesh quad as possible. What I mean by that, a face with 4 vertices only. Select this vertex, hold Shift, select this one, and hit J to connect them. Select this one and move it forward along the Y-axis a bit. Maybe you're asking yourself why we need to do that. Later on, when we will add a subsurf modifier for the mesh, that's gonna give us the best result. Alright, Ctrl 1 to switch into the back view, and now we need to make the same cut just we did. K to activate the knife tool and make a cut just like so. When you are done, Enter to apply it. Select this vertex, hold Shift, select this one, and hit J to connect them, and there we go. Select this vertex and move it slightly into the back. select this one and do the same thing. Alright, go with 3 on the keyboard to switch into the face select. Select this face, hold shift, select this one, hit X and choose faces. Okay, switch into the vertex select again. By holding Alt, mouse left click, we can select this loop with all these vertices selected, one notepad to front view, and go with E to extrude them. As you know guys, the arm shape looks like a cylinder, and this shape doesn't. So we're gonna go into Edit, Preferences, Add-ons, and search for the Loop Tools add-on. Turn on this add-on, click here, and save your preferences. With all these vertices selected, mouse right click, Loop Tools, Circle. That looks much better. We need to make some adjustments, S to scale, R to rotate. That's good. From the side view, we need to push the arm a bit into the back. Remember guys, take your time and don't rush. I'm not doing anything crazy, I'm trying to follow the guidelines for this character and to shape the shoulders and the arm. Okay, we can move on. Select this loop, go with E to extrude, S to scale, and try to look at the character from the side and from the front view as well. And again, E to extrude, S to scale, from the side view, R to rotate it a bit. One last time, E to extrude, S to scale. We need to push this loop along the X-axis a bit, just like so. And there we go. You can also hit R twice to rotate freely to keep the mesh clean as possible. We're gonna go with Ctrl R and add 3 loop cuts right there. If you wanna look at the character right now, that's not bad. I think the geometry it's okay. And as I said before, take your time to keep the mesh quad as possible. So go ahead and add a loop cut on the upper arm, SY to scale along the Y axis a bit, one notepad to front view, from the front view go with SX, and that looks much better. Ctrl R again, and that's it. Go ahead and go with Ctrl S to save your file. Don't forget that. Okay, let's move on. Two on the keyboard to switch into the edge select. Select this one, hold Ctrl and click on this one to select this edge. Hit G twice on the keyboard to activate the edge slide. As you see from the back, we have enough place. Go with Ctrl R to add loop cut right there, and Ctrl R to add another loop cut from the front. Select this edge, hold Shift, select this one, and go with F to fill. Go ahead and add 3 loop cuts right there, one on path to front view, and push these cuts along the Z-axis, just like so. From the side view, select this edge and push it down just like so. Now we can switch into the X-ray mode, select all these vertices and push them into the center, R to rotate them a bit. And as you see guys, I'm trying to follow the reference image. When you are happy with that, hold Alt mouse left click to select this loop and go with E to extrude. Okay, hit S, Z, 0, then enter to line up the vertices just like so. As we did it before, mouse right click, loop tools, circle. I think you know why. The legs shape looks like a cylinder, and that's what we just want to create. Hit E again to extrude this loop, S to scale it a bit, and we're gonna try to follow the lines for the reference images from the side and from the front as well. I think it's easy for you now to understand. Ctrl R to add loop cuts and try to follow the lines from the side and from the front as well. So simple is that. E to extrude, S to scale, just like so. And now we have something like a leg. Congratulations, guys! Yay! From the side view, go with Ctrl R to add a loop cut right there, R to rotate, SY to scale along the Y axis. We need to add another loop cut and scale it just like so. So it's time to add another loop cut right there, R to rotate it a bit. Alright, Ctrl R and add another one right there. So guys, if you see what you got right now, believe me, this is a good reason to be proud of yourself. We need to select this vertex and push it forward along the Y-axis just like I did. Select this one and do the same thing. It's good to know guys that I'm trying to keep the edge flow clean as possible. That's why I need to push these vertices forwards or backwards. So we need to add more vertices right there. Ctrl R to add a loop cut right there. In the side view, select all these vertices and push them just like so. I believe the body right now looks very good. We kept the mesh quad as possible, and this is also a really good low poly character. Select this vertex and push it forward along the Y-axis. Select this one and do the same thing. And this one just like so. And as you see, we need more vertices to work with. That's why we're gonna use the knife tool again. K to activate the knife tool. And try to make the cut just like me. And again guys, try to make this cut exactly like I did. From here into there. When you are happy with that, hit enter to apply the cut. Select this vertex, hold shift, select this one and hit J to connect them. Select this one, hold shift, select this one and hit J to connect them. One last time, select this vertex and this one and hit J to connect them. This is more like what we need. Now we have enough geometry to play with. So please take your time and don't rush. As I said before, there is no time lapse for this tutorial series. So I hope that will be interesting to you to watch me move things around and get the shape that we are looking for. And lastly, hit Ctrl S to save your file. So guys, that was all about today's video. If you found this video useful, go ahead and smash that like button. I'm gonna catch you later. Bye.